Yo, what's up, guys? We're back. So we're gonna start by looking at Reddit. Reddit always got the best content, guys. Whenever I'm like, what do I do? Go to Reddit. So we got a post that says, "Can blue belts teach?" Just got my blue belt on Friday after 16 months of training. Also competed once. Wow. My question basically is, am I now qualified slash eligible to teach new students and beginners? I want to I want to be a coach in the future. I want to be a coach in the future if all goes well. So I like to get experience teaching from now and considering even doing content online. But a guy I train with told me I shouldn't be posting techniques because I'm only blue. Not saying he's wrong, but I just want opinions. I'm open minded and all ears. Okay. Before I give my 2 cents, let's just read some of the comments. Yeah, the comments are usually gold. One guy says teaching is an entirely different skill set from doing jiu-jitsu. Teaching is a separate skill, but you still need to know jiu-jitsu to teach it. Yeah, that's true. You gotta know a little bit. And in that 16 months, I guess everybody's different. Some people really latch onto the sport, and their technical base might be really high, at blue belt, versus some people are still technically beginners at blue belt. But yeah, teaching is a skill. You gotta learn how to manage people, how to keep people's attentions, how to structure a class, how to organize the class, keep people motivated. It's rough, and it's not something you're gonna catch. You're not gonna master or even become decent at in a short period of time unless you have teaching experience in other fields. I think the OG poster said, "I'm very aware of that. In fact, when I was injured from tearing my rotator cuff for 3 months, I still attended the beginners classes since they were full. I would be asked to keep an eye out on new kids and help them out, and most of them told me I was a very good teacher, hence my interest in wanting to do it." Yeah, so that's usually how most people get started in that kids class. You can't really mess up too much in the kids class. Yeah, just try to help, and I mean, even people that don't train, a white belt could watch the kids and make sure they don't kill each other. So I mean, it's kind of like babysitting at that point. Um, you should probably apprentice first before trying to teach a class. Um, this other guy says, yeah, you can probably help on ramp new students. Well, when people say blues shouldn't teach, they don't normally mean to teach novice January resolution members. It's just hard to see things without the time under tension you get from more years. Think about it like driving a car after 10 years. You can see little things, many things people do to indicate what might happen next. The other piece is that as you develop instruction for others, you end up leaving your own development behind. That is a big deal. That is a big deal. You just got his blue belt, so maybe he should focus on his own practice because when you start to teach, obviously your focus goes off of yourself and onto others, which is how it works. And teaching can help better your own game, but it's not going to be overnight. It's going to be over time. Yeah, well, he says he wants to become a teacher. Yeah, like I said, apprentice first. Try to see the behind the scenes first, because I think I don't want to say it's glamorized, but people see instructors like Danaher or Lackland or Guy Mendez, and they're like, man, I want to be just like that. But it's not all roses, guys. And of course, helping new people, basically, it's not the hardest thing in the world. But when you start, running against issues, and then difficult students, that's when it gets harder. I don't think one can assume he'd leave his development behind. Teaching really helps the teacher focus and understand fundamentals. I've always found that to be true whenever I was teaching or tutoring, but that might not be true for everyone. Another guy says, I disagree here. I think that you develop instruction for others. You deepen as you develop your instruction for others, you deepen your knowledge of what's being taught. As long as what you're teaching is within the skill set of what you want to get good at, those things are complementary. If your focus is on advanced moves, they don't carry over from the basics, then you're not helping yourself develop. On the third hand, if the advanced stuff doesn't build off the basics or doesn't benefit from better basics, then why teach the basics at all? I don't know. I'm kind of got confused there. Another guy says, you got your blue belt after 16 months and you were injured for 3 of them. How often do you train? He says, I train 5 to 6 times a week. I'm a uni student, so I have a lot of free time. Man, I don't know. Another guy says, I started teaching fundamentals classes when I was blue belt. I had already been a blue belt for a couple of years, and I got my purple belt about 4 months later. I felt fine teaching as long as students didn't ask too many questions. Sometimes students would ask questions that stumped me. I didn't have a good answer, and it made me feel like I had no place teaching class. Everybody is different, but my assumption is that the same would happen to you. Yeah, blue belt is still a beginner belt, but I think at purple belt, and after you've had some time on your hands and you not only have a pretty decent understanding of jiu-jitsu, but maybe you start developing more specific things, specific game plans, specific guard passing, specific guard playing. I think that's when you can start to. I think that's when teachers. You should start looking for teachers at purple belt. Not to say that blue belts can't teach, but they are, they're still cooking. They need more time, more pressure, learning. And, the guy said he only competed once. Maybe get some more experience under your belt. Yeah, I think he needs more experience. Not to say that he can't teach, but it would be a disservice to himself to just be focusing on teaching at blue belt. I think just enjoy the practice and teaching, maybe part-time or just on a per help basis would be better. And wait till purple belt, get some more experience, get some more tournaments, and then start to focus on developing that skill set of teaching. Yeah, he's got his hands full. He's got school, and then he's training, and then teaching is another thing that can kind of drain your energy. Another guy says, we have a blue belt, just turned purple belt like that. But he tends to be quite honest and be like, I don't know, or be like, let's figure this out. Yeah, I mean, as instructors, we don't always have answers. Obviously, the more experience you have, the more you can draw from that experience. But yeah, I mean, man, if you don't know the answer, I'll be like, man, I don't know. Let me see. Let me try it out. Or I just tell the person to experiment, or, I'll point them in the direction of an instructor online or, in person that knows the answer. Yeah. And as a blue belt, I mean, ideally at blue belt, you've mastered the basics, but it's more so you just understand the basics enough. Yeah, I don't think blue belts should be teaching guys. There are going to be special cases. Maybe you're in a country with not a lot of instructors, not a lot of higher belts, and then, okay, maybe you need a blue belt teaching. But yeah, I think he should just focus on his practice. Let's read like 1 or 2 more. I started teaching at blue belt, and a good one, and am a good one because I take the time to plan my classes and teach what I know. Also, I can show my students that I hit in competition what I'm teaching. That helps too. Honestly, teaching will vastly improve your fundamentals. As a blue belt, you'll be very experimental with all kinds of new techniques and positions, but going over the details of basics and hearing yourself say them and show them has been the biggest development tools for my own game. I'd recommend looking over sub-meta and creating a curriculum from that. Very beginner and user-friendly, and not getting into flashy stuff. Let me just add that the benefit I see of training under a blue belt is that they just went through what the white belt you're teaching went through, and that matters. Of course, the adverse can happen if you don't have a deeper understanding of technique and you aren't heavy on study. If you study diligently, compete, and plan, and stay focused at blue belt, can be greater or better teacher than an old school brown or belt or such. I hear that sometimes, but I mean, realistically, that's almost never the case. There might be the one odd, man, this blue belt's amazing, but he's, again, probably specialized in one field, or, he's just copying Danaher or Lackland or someone. which isn't wrong. But once you start to get those questions, that's when your Danaher DVD or your Lackland submeta account doesn't really help you. You're like, wait a second, let me pull up the submeta real fast while you're asking the question. Um, I feel like we oftentimes underestimate just how important that experience is, man. It's just so important to have that experience. And to be honest, the best instructors are always constantly learning. They're always on the forefront of jiu-jitsu knowledge, and they've seen everything. They've seen everything. And that's what I've seen from like some of the best instructors in the world. Like, man, you can't really compete with their knowledge, and that knowledge can span decades and thousands of students, and they've just seen everything. They've seen everything. So you can't just, man, you can't write that or underwrite that. Again, this is Reddit, man. Reddit. I think everybody on here is a blue belt. Reddit, come for me, Reddit. I don't post on Reddit no more, but I'll check on them. Next thing we're gonna look at, we got the Kennedy versus Cole match. That was been a little controversial. We're just gonna watch that one and kind of see what was going on. Let's see what I got the speed on. I think my speed is custom. No, just regular. Let's put it on normal. Hopefully the audio. I don't want to turn the sound on too loud, guys, because man, I'd be getting hit with copyrights. You can hear it bring in the background. So let's go. Let's rewind that. So I already saw one issue. I mean, I kind of know what the score is, but I already saw the first issue. So just look how Cole is starting the match. He's already on one knee, and he's looking to guard pull. So I think the first rule in the rule book is that you need to make a grip before trying to pull guard, and so you can be penalized for that. Also, look how Kennedy rushes in. So it might be seen as Kennedy initiating the movement. Again, you need a grip before you sit. Cole was already on one knee, and then that's that gray area. Double guard pull, and then Kennedy comes up immediately to get the advantage. And we can already see the referee kind of in the earpiece. So I think the penalty for Cole happens at this point. Man, and at black belt, man, those penalties, advantages really matter. So Kennedy is up an advantage. Let's see, they took the advantage up away. Let's see. So they penalized Cole there. So I mean, you don't want to start your matches with a penalty. That's not how you want to start your matches. Let me turn this volume down a little bit. Hey, referee, let's go ahead and skip that a little bit. Referee got the earpiece on. We got one penalty for Cole. So he's doing the same thing again. You see that, guys? He puts the knee down, and he's looking to guard pull. Another penalty. So the referee is ready to give Kennedy advantage, but that was actually a penalty. And the same thing happens again. Actually, Kennedy, I don't know if he's going to keep that advantage. So anyway, 2 penalties automatically is an advantage for your opponent. 3 penalties is 2 points. 4 penalties is a disqualification. So they're standing them up, and they're going to see the same thing happen again. So this is a technical issue. I'm not sure what the AOJ guys were doing, but you can't do that. So another penalty. Kennedy gets an advantage. At this point, Kennedy, all he needs to do is play very smart because, again, if Cole got another penalty, 3 penalties will get points. This time, Cola did a better guard pull this time. No knee on the ground, double guard pull. Whoever comes up gets an advantage. Kennedy comes up. So now he gets 2 advantages, which is, that could decide a black belt match. And we see Cole, he's working this De La Hiva, underhook De La Hiva with the collar. Almost into a Nashi single leg X position. Man, good game planning. Cole messed up. I don't know what else to say. And against a really game opponent like Kennedy, that's the match right there, guys. That's the match. Game over. Let's see, single leg X with the outside hook. Dun, dun, dun. Back to single leg X. I'm sure he's gonna try to sweep or something from here. We'll see. And I like how he's controlling the pant. Kennedy's trying to clear the hill. He might try to go to 50-50 from here. Cole. Kennedy's doing a good job of controlling Cole's arm. That makes it hard to off balance. So I can see Cole trying to go to 50-50 to maybe get a quick sweep if he can get his leg out. Oh, so he goes to the other side. That was really nice. That was a nice little sweep. Nice off balance. And he tries to come up. Nice sweep. Kennedy's got a lasso, so, I mean, 2 points to Cole. It's just so hard to pass it black belt, especially featherweight. And Cole's down by those 2 points. So by the time Kennedy sweeps again later on in the match, I haven't seen a full match, but he just needs a sweep and he's back up at any point. Some collar sleeve, omoplata, nice omoplata attempt. Cole's on a defensive. Man, it's hard to pass at this level, man. You don't really pass. You know, that's why guys like Leandro Lowe really stood out. Adam Rosinski, he's been passing. I'm trying to think of someone else that passes. Nice. Cole's trying to get through, but, you know, again, Gumby. Guard play by Kennedy. And also, you got to take in the psychological effect of being down by 2 advantages. Some leg weave. Maybe try to do some outside passing to the other side. Yeah, all Kennedy's got to do is play smart, you know. He's playing on the sleeves with the lasso. Pretty calm. Yeah, there. Creating some distance. Nice. Maybe looking for a single leg eventually. Dun, 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 dun. Who's over there in the background? Looks like Pato over there. Let's see. Cole is, you know, man, like I said, it's hard to pass, guys. Hard to pass. Kennedy's looking maybe to enter like a half guard or something. I can't really tell what he's got going on. Back to lasso. Looking for the other sleeve. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna zoom up a little bit. So restart back in the center. Yeah, I feel like Cole. I mean, most AOJ guys got the, you know, they got the long step and they got like this outside pass. But when that doesn't work, it's kind of rough. I mean, Tynan does really well with his game, but you know he's an outlier. Yeah, Kennedy holding strong with the double sleeve. Again, not only is Kennedy up 2 advantages, but Cole is down 2 penalties. That's just the worst case. That is the worst case because by, you know, again, all Kennedy needs is that sweep. Long step, pressuring in. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Maybe roll through. What are you gonna do, Kennedy? What you got here, bro? Back to open guard. Double sleeve. Yeah, it's hard to pass that double sleeve. I mean, you gotta break the grips like he's trying. Break the grips, and then you know, man, it's so hard. Kennedy's inverting. Close guard. Nice. Underhook the leg. Yeah, it's hard to pass that double sleeve. Usually you got to fight with your footwork. You know, if you watch Leandro Lowe versus like someone like Mergali, all the footwork is how you fight those guys. Nice little waiter sweep from the closed guard by Kennedy there. Nice, boom. And nice head control with the lapel. Man, some basic old school jiu-jitsu right there. Who would have guessed that would work still? Again, while Cole is being up, he's up 2 points, but it's hard to pass. All Kennedy's got to do is chill towards the end of the match, sweep. And there's no way to come back, you know. Got some reverse guard over there with Plata. You guys see that? You know I'm distracted over here. Look at that. Whee. Reverse close guard. Looks like he's getting out, though. Looks like Kennedy's going for a choke. I don't really think it's on, but yeah, we're just waiting for that about 2 minute mark, 1 minute mark, guys. That's when you're gonna see Kennedy start to explode. And that's smart strategy, man. I mean, you fly all the way out to Lisbon. You wanna win. You wanna bring home some medal. Unfortunately, because this is a semifinal, quarterfinal, whoever loses, well, we don't know who wins and loses, but the loser doesn't take anything home. So you just spend all that money to come to Lisbon to lose. So that is rough. I'm kind of watching the Pato match a little bit. When they get the rest of the matches out, guys, I'll watch them on YouTube. I don't want to use the Flow Grappling videos straight from their website. But once they put it up on YouTube, fair game. Nice little inversion by Kennedy. I kind of missed it a little bit. Let's see how he did that. Cole's going for the ankle. Seeing a lot of ankle locks. Kennedy doesn't really like to tap the leg locks though, so. Alrighty, back on top. About 2 minutes. We're going to see some action now. So that's just the strategy. Probably a single leg, sit up guard type movement. That's what we're going to see, I think. He looks to be trying to invert, maybe grab one of the legs, get to a single leg X. You can hear Cole's coach telling him to go for the leg drag, but I think his leg is stuck. All right, nice. Okay, we're gonna see some single leg, guys. Wait for that single leg. You can hear Cabrinha telling him to hurry up and come up. Just come up. You ain't got time. Just come up. He's got a little bit of lapel guard. It looks like a warm guard or something. He's gonna come up. Nice. Cole's fighting, but again, he's got some ankle lock on there. Again, all Kennedy has to do is come up. 1 minute, not much time to really do anything else. Okay, backspin. There we go. So Cole's got the ankle lock grip, but Kennedy comes up on top. Gets to 2 points, and the match is completely different because Kennedy gets an advantage. Where did he get that advantage from? Let's rewind, guys. I missed that advantage. So the near come up there, that was really nice. They gave him an advantage for that. Dang. So 3 advantages. Yeah, right there, advantage. I probably would not get that advantage. They'd be like, nah, that didn't count, Alec. So here, got an advantage. Maybe because he was also in the back position. I'm not quite certain. So he got an advantage. Here he gets a sweep. So even though Cole had the ankle lock grip, it wasn't really an attack. So 1 minute left. Cole would have to sweep back immediately to get points because he's not going to win on advantages. He won't win a ref decision. He's just behind, completely behind. It's going to be hard to submit someone 40 seconds left in the match, and all Kennedy has to do is play smart. That's strategy, guys. Strategy. It's not always the better jiu-jitsu person that wins. Cole's trying to come up with something. Some 50-50. Usually you're going to see 50-50 in time's already up at this point. So usually 50-50s, the only option most people are going to have to sweep really quickly. Little sweep. Kennedy goes to turtle and go to all fours. So now all he has to do is hold out, man, because he's not going to get the back points. Cole might get an advantage. but he was down. So this was a strategic loss. Those two penalties at the beginning for having his knee down and trying to pull guard, that's why he lost. So let that be a lesson to you guys, especially a black belt, because the skill gap is so small. Everybody's right next to each other usually. So the advantages matter, penalties matter, strategy matters. So that's a lesson for me and you guys. It's a good match. Good match. The next video we're gonna look at, last one actually. Let's see if I can get out of this. We're gonna watch Keenan. Good old Keenan. He says how I attract new members to my gym. So this is an important video for all my instructors out there that have academies. You can see my video over here. You guys want to check out some other business content for jiu-jitsu. So we're just going to listen to this video and see what we can take from it, okay?
What is the best way to attract new students? Obviously, that it's hard to pinpoint the best way, but I would have to answer with an equally broad answer, which would be to really focus on having the best product. Now, no matter where you are, there's going to be some sort of competition, some other gym, some other martial arts school. You'd have to be exceptionally fortunate to land yourself in a dense population where no one else has had the idea to teach them martial arts. So at its core, business is competitive. You're trying to outcompete other businesses in your area that are trying to provide similar products. So the key to that is who can provide the most value. And you'll hear me talk about value a lot, and it's really important to understand this word deeply, because value essentially means what is someone willing to pay for your product. Now, many people get into a situation where they're trying to race to the bottom with prices, which is a black hole you do not want to fall into, trying to undercut the price of another gym or another business, like, oh, we're just cheaper. Now, at its surface, that might sound like a good idea, like, oh, we'll just charge less because I'm willing to take less money for my service. Well, what happens is now either they decide to try and undercut you, or they continue to provide a quality service for a higher price, and then people perceive that their product is more valuable because it costs more. And if they have some supporting evidence for that, like the gym is nicer, the staff is friendlier, they have better systems and processes that make people feel welcome, and they can integrate into jiu-jitsu more easily than at your academy. And at the end of the day, they're probably going to end up with more capital, more money than you, and they can keep reinvesting that to make their product better and better and charge more and more while you just tried to undercut them. So usually cheapening your price is not the answer. To provide more value, you need to give them more for the same price. That's the key. It's good to be cost competitive, like in a similar price range, but if you can add a lot more value to your service, that is what's going to attract people over time, over the long term. Of course, there are short-term things. You can do a marketing campaign, and we can get into how a marketing campaign works. But in general, the fundamental focus that you as a business owner need to zone in on is providing more value for similar or greater prices than the people in your area. And now this takes investment, because to make something nice, it costs money. And if you're willing to reinvest your profits back into your business and turn that profit into another expense, you can continue to improve and improve and improve your location and your services so that you are literally the best gym in your surrounding area. So when people go online and they search up different gyms, they probably will call a couple of them. Maybe they'll even visit a few of them. And that first impression of someone walking into your gym and seeing that you have your shit together and that it's nice and it's clean and you have clearly demarcated systems or programs or prices or however you want to do that, at the end of the day, if they try your jiu-jitsu at your gym versus trying it at another gym, have you successfully made that process frictionless for the client? Now, that's something that most of Brazilian jiu-jitsu gyms don't do, is they're not focused on providing the client value. They're focused on kind of maintaining the traditions and the dogmas associated with like the art of jiu-jitsu. Like they make you bow on the mat, or that you have to tie your belt facing away from your instructor, or if you're late you have to do push-ups, or you have to bow to the picture at the beginning and end of class, or you have to like say certain things, or like there's so many little rules that don't add value at all. They exist merely to perpetuate some tradition or to inflate the instructor's ego in a lot of situations, and that's an unfortunate reality. But if you just invert that and stop thinking about like, oh, we must maintain traditions and you must respect me, the instructor, and focus on respecting the clients and their needs and their desires and what they want out of jiu-jitsu, and focus on continually supporting that structure, usually you can outperform other gyms that are kind of following the more traditional BJJ gym approach. So I would suggest focusing on value and providing value to a client and asking the clients what are they looking for out of your academy or your gym, and trying to continue to provide that. So we have built a culture here. It's a specialized culture that I call it American Jiu-Jitsu because it has a lot of it's fundamentally more based on the American value system. And that means just what I've described, which is we eliminate all the things that I believe don't add value or that the clients tell me don't have value, that feels like a waste of their time and money. And we invest heavily in the things that they do value, like more instructors, more competent instructors, better mats, a better facility, a cleaner facility, amenities, water fountains, water bottles, drinks, nice merchandise, clean bathrooms, showers. Like these are all things that people value. More classes at more convenient times, more instructors in the classes if they feel like they're not getting enough individual attention. Like these are all things that we can invest in. They have nothing to do with tradition. It's just like, this is what people want, so we should provide more of it. And since very few gyms have this mentality, or maybe they do, but they just don't know how to approach it properly, it's very easy to outcompete them by having that mindset versus their mindset, which is they're basically in the wrong race. You're racing to the top of something that they're not even like racing to. They just want to maintain the status quo of how gyms have operated. So that's the best way to attract clients. And of course, there's ad campaigns and marketing campaigns and things you have to do to actually tell people about your product. And that is a very complicated process, but it can be learned, just like anything can be learned. But yes, that should answer the question. A lot more value.
There you go. We got Keenan looking very serious. Yeah, I agree. Looking long term. I think if you're in this business to make money, well, good luck. I mean, some people do well. I think you need to look long term. I think if you're thinking short term, you're gonna build a school. It's gonna blow up. You're gonna have 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 students. Yeah, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, and it's something that you have to develop. I also like how Keenan mentioned bringing value. You should always be thinking of your students. He's saying clients, customers. I'm going to say students because I still think of more in a more traditional sense. And it's really those small things, which are large things overall, that matter. The facilities, the cleanliness, the attention, having more than one instructor, helping the students, giving them attention. I think all that, and just being willing to invest in that is really important. And it takes forever to build your brand. It takes forever to build trust, loyalty, community, but it's easy to destroy that brand overnight. So yeah, just think about how to best not just run your school, but just to make it the best place possible. And sometimes your facilities, your academy won't be that for everyone, but you'll find your tribe and grow that way. And yeah, I got a lot of friends out there that have schools, and it's just a constant process. You got to be hitting on all cylinders, your marketing, your customer relation, your student relations, your instruction, everything's got to be firing and just always improving. And I think that's the only way you're gonna get students to stay, and they gotta want to be there. I think that's the most important part. Like when I go to Iron Horse or Max or Inverted Gear Academy or Savannah and Sergi BJJ or Mano a Mano in Orlando, it feels like home. I can't wait to be there. But if people feel stressed just going to your gym, they're not gonna go. So a lot to unpack. We'll keep doing some more business stuff. I think that's one weakness that a lot of instructors have, the business aspect. And we just got to keep promoting the business know-how, knowledge, to make better jiu-jitsu academies out there, and hopefully make better students too. You can do both, guys. You can have a good business and have good students. You don't just need to have we call it a McDojo, where you're just giving belts out. You can have a good place, a good academy that has good students and that is in the black, that's doing well and is profiting. All right, guys, that's it. My voice about to go. Until next video. Peace out and ciao.